You're not going to believe this story, but I'm going to tell it to you. The true narcissistic father at work, dividing, conquering his own children. What a man that is, isn't it? Trying to make sure when your children are weak, that's when you just come in for the final attack. Hello, this is Joe Cox Jr. with Life Made Simple, getting through this narcissistic world together. So what I'm going to talk to you about is how my father basically was able to come in and take my house from me. Interesting story. Yet the whole family, says that isn't true and blah, blah, blah. You can go back and look at the tax records. It's very clear who possessed that house. Let me explain to you how it happened. So when years ago, let's say I bought the house in '02. It was a 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 4,000 square feet, full basement, 2 fireplaces, 4-car garage on an acre and a half. Plus after I bought it, I put another $100,000 into the house just on upgrades, fencing, upgraded electrical, you name it. Did a lot of work to the house. Where he's still living today. Isn't that amazing? Got to be proud, wake up every day and say, hey, I conquered my son to get this house. The strange part about it is the way he even got into it was I invited him to come live with me after my brother died. Thought I was giving him comfort, that I didn't want him, because he was actually living in a college town in Alabama, him and my brother. And then after my brother passed away, about 5 years after I got the house, I was single at the time. I was struggling emotionally. I was going through the dark night of the soul already, and just one thing after the other. And instead of encouraging me whenever I would have a bad day or have anxiety or whatever. Now keep in mind, I've done a video on this where my brother drank himself to death at 29. So what does my father do for me when I'm going through this? Goes up and buys a liquor bottle and hands it to me. Said, does it help you out? Wow. So you can't make this stuff up. This is so bizarre. I look back now and I can see every bit of the toxicity all the way from childhood. My father was never there. He wasn't at my graduation. He never encouraged me. But I thought this is a time that we could come together as a family, right? So this is what I did. When I'm struggling, I'm single. I said, I'm going to, and see, I probably wasn't thinking real clearly because my brother has not always been straightforward with me, but I put the house into a land trust and put my brother as a trustee. So when I was at my all-time low, you see this coming yet? You see this about to happen? So at my all-time low, that's when they go in for the kill. My brother deeds the house out of the trust, puts it in my father's name. They redo the will and cut me out of the will, and now my brother's going to get the house. He's the trustee that violated his trustee agreement. It's a criminal act in the state of Georgia to do that. I could probably press criminal charges, but I'm not. I had a higher power tell me, don't worry, I will take care of it. I went through a lot of dark times. I'm like, I didn't really have the money or the effort to fight it. So time rolls on. After that happened, see, we don't realize when we do stuff like this, if you're not going to take care of your current family, how in the world does my brother expect the universe or his creator to take care of his current family? Not long after that, his wife left me. You know, my brother is become just like my father. He's sitting there, wow, we got one over on him, that sort of thing. But I'm going to tell you, I have more joy in my life and my heart today because I let it go. Let me explain for a minute. I let it go based on what I felt like my higher power wanted me to do. I forgave them, that sort of thing. But I do believe that all my success, reconnecting with my wife, and having a better life, and finding the people so I could get the healing of my body and spirit, was a result of me not harboring all that anger. I put it in a land trust where something happened to me, they would be okay. And they took that as an opportunity to deceive me. Crystal clear, isn't it? Crystal clear of what happened. My sister, when I talked to her, when she called me in about, 6, 7 months ago, cursed me out for an hour, I did a video just on that one alone. I mentioned something about the house. Like, why don't, she said something like, I don't remember the details, but, why do you have such hard feelings? And I'm like, well, the house deal. And she took up for them. Oh, that was never your house, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, really? So this now, we're getting into that whole triangulation. We're getting into the smear campaign. My name has been smeared so much, she doesn't know what to believe anymore. I can speak total truth to her, and she doesn't believe anything I say. I could tell her a lie or a truth, and she doesn't believe either one. So that's a tough place for her to be, because she is holding on to the anger. So when I speak truth to her, she still doesn't understand it. I could sit there and show it to her black and white, and she still wouldn't believe me. I could pull tax records. See right here? Here's all the paperwork. She still wouldn't believe me. She has believed what she wants to believe. I'm sure some of you have been involved in these smear campaigns. The smear campaign has gone on for, let's see, going on about 15 years with my father, but my mother, it's going on 75 years or 60 years, pretty much my whole life. She smeared me from day one. That's why I don't have a lot of childhood friends that I had. I was allowed to have friends, and just this toxicity, man. But I wanted to share today that story about the house, that even after the narcissist executes it, they still have no, even after I leave and I'm gone, and I'm not I'm not giving them any type of supply, no type of argument, confronting the issue, no supply of energy whatsoever. I've just let it go. So let me tell you what happened. I wrote a book this last year, and we had a family reunion. Guess what? I gave that book to just about every person at the family reunion, and every person knew about it. And it tells about my journey of healing, what happened to me. And yeah, my father was there. So me and my wife, and I took my aunt, that's my father's sister, that we're actually taking care of. It's his sister, and he's supposed to be taking care of his sister, and we're taking care of her instead. So what happened is, as soon as I got there, I could see him up on the porch, and we were about to eat. So I thought, well, after I eat, I'm going to walk up to him and say something. And my brother was there. So they're over there talking, and there's pretty good bit of people, about 40, 50 people there. And you don't hear much about family reunions, but I went over there and talked with him, a lot of people, and I was about to walk over and talk to him, and I noticed both of them were gone. And I'm like, so rolls on a few hours, I heard people saying, yeah, right after we ate, Joe Sr. got up and just left. And somebody else said they saw him sitting down in the car by himself. Michael had driven him, I'm sure. So Michael was there a few more minutes, and then Michael was gone, my brother. My father's he knows what he did was wrong. And he's too shameful to sit down and have a conversation. That's one thing you'll learn about a narcissist. They'll never sit down and talk it out, try to rationalize it. So word was that I owed my father money or something that um, that's the reason he did it. He took my house basically because I owed him money or something. I don't know. But there was never a meeting. There was never a sit down. There was never an explanation of why. And the reason, the day I found out and I confronted him, and there was like tear running down my cheek. I'm like, you did this? You really? I one of the last times I was at the property, and I didn't know whether to be sad, mad, pissed off. I didn't know what to be. And he just grinned, smiled, turned around, and walked off like he got one over on me. He thinks he's a slick one. That's what a narcissist thinks. To me, he's the biggest coward. He couldn't even talk to me there. And now he knows that, everybody knows about the book and our story. And of course, I've started this channel. I'm not doing it to attack him. I'd love for him to call me one day and say, hey, let's make it right. I gave up on that a long time ago. They're so disappointing. They're so disappointing. So hopefully this lets you know that even if a father can deceive you out of $250,000, then you can still go on to have a good life. No doubt, they lower the quality of your life tremendously. Narcissistic parents, that is their goal, is to lower the quality of your life. There's nothing godly about that. There's nothing righteous about that. There's nothing pure about that. That is deceit, evil, manipulating, everything against our Creator. But I'm going to set my rules and what I'm going to live by. And whatever they do, that's on them. But if I hold anger, they're winning. So if I release the anger, I've taken back my control. I've released it in the universe. There's always karma. There's always a cause and effect. Both my parents are very miserable human beings, in my opinion. They don't have their kids. They don't have any connection. I'm not aware that, I think my sister doesn't really have much of a relationship with a mother or father. She's kind of isolated, divorced. I feel sad for her. I've offered her an opportunity to reach out and let's have a relationship. Too angry. I can't do anything about that. She believes the old smear campaign. So hopefully you enjoyed this story. It's a $250,000 story, but it's to show you that people can take, steal, rob, lie, cheat, and be your own parents, but you can still be strong, still accept it. It is what it is. All they've done is show you who they really are. He's everything I already thought he was when I was a child. He was never around. He was never there to protect his family. As far as a provider, I was on, free lunches in elementary and high school. But he had plenty of money to go out and party with his friends and his girlfriends and all when he was married. So I know all that story. I was young enough to see what really went on. And when I tried to share this with my sister of what the reality is, she didn't want to hear it. So either you live in truth or you die by the lies. Because living in the lies is what destroys you. Living in truth brings good things to your life. So for today, this is Joe Cox, Life Made Simple, getting you through this narcissistic world. I hope you enjoyed this story, and leave your comments below and like and subscribe. I appreciate you. Till tomorrow, from my heart to yours. Bye-bye.